Hey everybody, happy August 7th, 2017. It's a beautiful night here in Syracuse, and I just wanted to take a minute and to tell you it's about halfway through the summer, which is terrible. But I want to take a minute and just get us thinking about the fall and taking stock with where we are. And so I just thought the best way to do that to get to everybody was to send you a little note. We're celebrating tonight because tonight Karina's down at Lake Champion with the Young Lives girls, and Justin's up at Saranac with the Young Life City kids and from the city of Syracuse, which is awesome. And of course, we're getting ready to fill our buses up on Saturday and have our wildlife trip up to Saranac. And so, I just want to take a minute and talk about a couple quick things. And thanks for you guys checking in on this. First of all, I wanted to tell you this. Right here in the middle of the summer, with all the work we've been doing and checking in with everybody, I want to remind us that our first call is to the Lord. And as we follow Jesus, we truly are his missionaries. And as missionaries, sometimes it is hard. And that's okay. It's okay that following the Lord and trying to share his love with kids is hard. And it may not be the kids themselves, it may be something else, but it's hard work. I know from just being on the floor again at Cabin Time with kids at Timberwolf, listening to the kids and processing the gospel with them. I know from just talking to the leaders alongside before and after camp and in follow-up, it's a tough time. It's a tough time to be a kid. It's a tough time to reach kids. We've got kids here all the time because Tanner and Jonathan both being now in high school. And it's tough. And it's okay that it's hard. And yet there's a goodness in it and a warmth and a need for the Lord that presses us to him. And I just wanted us to embrace the fact that sometimes things can be hard. And as missionaries, that's acceptable. Guys, one of the things that may have made this spring and summer harder than usual was that we had so many transitions. I mean, it was just staggering. And I'm so grateful for everybody because I think everybody really listened to the Lord. And so many of you guys are in new positions I'm sorry, I have some notes. Just I didn't want to be too long. But many of you guys are moving into new positions or have new responsibilities. And I'm just so thankful for it. And I'm so thankful. Ben is taking over on the east side of Syracuse. Leanne, hopefully just moments away to having a baby and moving into that role as a mother. Pat's going to be helping out with the kids up in Beeville, we hope. Steph stepping in further into the role with working with the camping admin. Karina coming on Young Live staff in the city. And of course, many guys don't even know Rebecca. Rebecca's down at Binghamton. She's a SUNY Binghamton grad student who's going to be coming on mission staff to begin to start up that ministry in Vestal and support the ministry we have going in Owego. And so it's just a great time. There's a lot of things that have changed and a lot of moving pieces. And my hope is that now as we move into the fall, we can all kind of find our place and begin to support one another and care for one another and begin to continue to reach more kids. Something else that's really been motivating me this summer is just this whole movement that Young Life's putting together called Forward. And I don't know how much you're engaging with it. It's not something I'm putting pressure on. But I just want to let you know, for me, I get my head around it because it's 5 years. And I don't know, 5 years just seemed like something that we could focus on. And this last spring, I asked you guys just to report into me in the month of May, roughly how many kids were coming around to Club and Campaigners. And I want to tell you, as a group, we've got about 425 kids this spring coming out to the stuff we did in May for Club. And then over 150 kids at Campaigners. And guys, that's not significant because of any one club or any one community. It's significant because it means that across Central New York, we now have 27 ministries reaching a boatload of kids. And if we're reaching that many kids that come to our meetings, it means that we know a heck of a lot more who aren't coming yet. I'm just so thankful for the one kid who got to hear that Jesus loved them or loved her. And maybe it changed their perspective that day. And maybe it opened their eyes to the fact that they're loved. Guys, it's just a big deal for those kids. And I know it takes a ton of work. And so I'm so thankful for all that you guys have given to make that happen. Now, one of the goals with Forward, amidst others, is that within 5 years, we're going to somehow double that. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it. But I can tell you what, I know the fact that if we try and we look back 5 years later, and there's more kids later than there are today hearing about Jesus, we're going to celebrate it. And we're going to be closer to the Lord, and it's going to be a great story. Now, I have thought of 3 things that it might take for us to reach more kids. Because certainly there's not the pressure on us for every club to double or every campaigner is to have twice as many kids. That's just not realistic. But here's the things that I think are going to help us the most. The first is our focus. We're just going to have to really be diligent in our focus with the Lord. Our focus to pray for kids, to pray for leaders, to pray for kids that are hurting, to pray for healing, to pray for ourselves, to pray for one another. We're going to have to be focused. And I'm not suggesting we have to work harder. I think in many senses we should work less. We should take some more time off. But to reach more kids, when we're working, we're going to have to focus on this. We're going to have to really figure out in our own right how it is the Lord can use us to reach kids. But alongside of that, of just as much importance, we're going to reach more kids because of the leaders we have and because of the way that we all disciple kids. There's just not going to be any way to cut corners. You know, friends, for our volunteer leaders in Central New York, the next 5 years, we're going to need to make it critically important that we train them, that we care for them, that we nurture them, that we come alongside of them. And I'm not suggesting that that's an easy task. This is a tough time in many respects for anybody who tries to volunteer, let alone volunteer in something like Young Life. And so as we get our head around the fall, I want us to double down and think about what is it that we're doing to care and nurture for our volunteer leaders, and how can we lead them into the discipleship of more and more kids. That's really going to be the way that we get to our goals, is by leading our teams well and by discipling kids well. Now, to that end, guys, to kind of wrap up, I did, because I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I read some more books, and I was really thinking about two themes. One was trust, and the second was teamwork. And I found these books, and to be quite honest with you guys, I picked up the first book on trust because I thought this will help me discover whether or not I can trust other people. But the humbling thing was that really the entire book was about whether or not I'm trustworthy. And that was eye-opening. It was convicting to consider. And the same thing happened to me with teamwork. I read this great book on teamwork, and I really wanted to do it so I could kind of find out what was wrong with teams, but instead discovered that really the key question is whether or not I'm a good team player. And so as we go into the fall, rather than make you guys read books and rather than have a whole meeting on it, what I wanted to do was to just use the tools that are in those books that have been put together by the authors and discover what are our qualities as a whole group. And so you're going to get an email with literally a 10-minute survey. Don't take any more time than 10 minutes on it. And just click the answers. I'm not looking to find out whether or not, Pat is too arrogant or whether or not, Danielle doesn't do something right. To me, I'm not looking for individual results. I'm looking for us as a staff team. As a staff team in Central New York, what are the characteristics that we are strong in terms of being trustworthy, and where can we grow? And likewise, how are we as a staff team? Do we have the qualities we need to be team players, or are we lacking in some way? And so I'm going to send that to you in a separate email. You'll get it soon. And I'd really appreciate it if we get it done on time, because to me, the Lord is speaking to me about how we're going to do these things as a total group. And so, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I just want to thank you so much. Please enjoy the last couple weeks of this great weather in the summer. Spend time with family. Make sure you spend time with the Lord. Get renewed. And be of good cheer. And know that the Lord is doing some great things in our midst. This is a new time, a new season. There's people in new places doing new things. And we're going to reach kids in ways that we never have before. So thanks, guys. God bless. And we'll talk soon.